Let the dancing begin. Well, I didn't see that coming.
of silence, a moment 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 of silence.
same time, progressive.
the show last night?
Huh. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome on over to the Midwest Clash. My name is Travis E. I'm joined here with Mechatronic, the owner, the proud writer of the guide for basic thugonomics. How is it going, my lad?
Now I really want to write a guide for basic thugonomics. I'm here for that. I hope everyone's got their coffee ready today. It is bright and early, 10:42 in the morning at LAN right now. Both Trav and I are just before noon, but we got some League of Legends starting today. We understand that not everyone got to see the League of Legends last night, including us. So we're here today, this morning, to see the League of Legends now.
We want to see the League of Legends, dang it. It does mean that there were some changes to the schedule. If you were already in here, you saw that. We're starting off with a best of one in terms of league, and then we are going to be swapping around and going a little bit farther down. So we'll end up going from league, then we're going to go over to Overwatch 2, which was our original starting show, so it has a slight delay on the stream for that. And then you're also going to see us go to Rocket League, and then it's going to go to League. So it's going to go, it's a little different than normal because we're going quarterfinals, grand finals, lower finals, and then grand finals. So that is the current plan in terms of the stream schedule for the day. So if you are interested in everything, we're doing lower quarters now, and then we will be doing grand finals later still. The only thing that's really changed is there is not going to be Valorant on the stream today. Those games are all going to get played off stream. A little sad about that. The Valorant games are pretty popping, but I'm still excited for the players. It is the LAN. So if you're there at the venue, make sure that you are supporting the teams. And here we go. We can see the different bracket journey that has came across. As you can see, we're going to be looking at Roosevelt versus Briarcliff. Whoever wins this goes on to face Columbia College in the lower bracket, as Grandview versus Columbia had gone on, and Grandview was able to stand up on top. So you can already see that this should be a very fun matchup between these two teams. Roosevelt University being a new team for us from the Midwest Esports Conference, but just because of the fact that MEC, a lot of these teams are represented from there. So Roosevelt being new, but Briarcliff being a very fond person to look back on.
Yeah, so teams we're talking about today, we've got Roosevelt University and Briarcliff University. They will work their way, attempting to work their way to playing against Grandview in the finals later today. Whoever wins this game goes and plays Columbia College, who lost to Grandview in the semi-final, the winner bracket semi-final, I think is the official name for that match. Yeah, so Roosevelt University against Briarcliff University. We've got rosters here as well. If you've been keeping track of Briarcliff, it's roughly the same roster they had before: Oxy, Kammer, Mike, Zro, and Boosinger. And over on the Roosevelt University side, Luna, Triops, Intra, Tickle, and Leeswin.
Yes.
Porky first pick.
Corky was first pick. It's one of the best AD carries that you can pick, right? Like, it's just an indomitable AD carry to go ahead and lock for yourself. It's very good. It's very consistent. On the flip side of things, BCU, they say, yo, let's get Ezreal. I'm kind of curious on what they lock in with it. You can lock in a numerous amount of things in the support role if you want to. Just a lot together with the Ezreal. It really just depends on what kind of Ezreal you want to play.
Also, I do believe that Mbessa is still disabled.
I was about to say, is she disabled? Please give me some Mbessa, please.
I don't believe we're 2 weeks out.
I say hogwash.
Okay. Ezreal Rakan feels like a good pick for Briarcliff. The Ezreal kind of works well into Corky. Both end up being poke lanes. So you can kind of just pick Ezreal to safely scale forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, like, remember too, right? Like, this Corky could very much so be a mid lane Corky. So
it could be a mid lane Corky.
Yes. We've seen more bot lane Corky come about, but it is a champion that is interchangeable. I like the Rakan just because of the flexibility of, hey, do I want to play for lane? I can make some plays around lane, or there's also the fact that you can take this Rakan and you can say, all right, I'm gonna roam by Ezreal. Ezreal's pretty good at being able to just be safe in a lane by himself while your support roams around the map. So I like that. And then on the flip side of things, Nautilus Sejuani, Ayo CC, do you like it? Well, too bad. You're gonna experience it.
So I like the Nautilus Edge pick here on 2-3 for Roosevelt. It feels like they're getting their tanks out of the way. They understand that they're gonna play through mid, bot, top lane, right? Don't be afraid to see a carry top laner here. And I really like that coming into this. I think that they understand they're getting their safe picks out of the way. The Morgana I'm liking. I assume that's a Morgana jungle.
It could be, yeah, absolutely.
It could be mid.
It could be mid if you really want to. The Rakan is pretty much set in stone inside of the support role. So
Yeah.
if they're taking this Morgana, like you were talking about, more than likely inside the jungle. We saw some time with the Morgana jungle coming out. It's been more of like a solo queue flavor than anything else out there. But mid lane Morgana has some potential as well. It does put yourself in a very interesting situation now because RU has to look over and say, what are we picking here? What are we picking into this? Because it's an uncommon matchup. And you're really already looking at, all right, how does this work? But this Black Shield has a lot of value in this composition because nobody really so far bursts the Black Shield, and nobody is able to stop that Black Shield. So you put the Black Shield on a carry, and they're invulnerable the entire time. You need some sort of threat to be able to break that shield.
Yeah, we should be looking. My bet is a tank top laner and some sort of damage mid here for Briarcliff. If I was them, I'd pick the tank top laner here. You're gonna get. I don't think you save counter pick for a tank. You leave it for the mid laner.
Yeah,
it could go either way here. I could see them going something else. I was looking to see if the Galio was banned. It is, because generally Galio is like Galio is the tank mid laner that you do. But Sylas getting picked up here means this gives a little bit more dive threat to this comp with the Rakan.
Yeah, so it's not just the dive threat. This is a very squishy composition, right? But it's also like, all right, I can yoink the Nautilus ultimate, I can yoink the Sejuani ultimate, and this also means you still have zero information on exactly where the Morgana is going. You don't have information on where the Sylas is going. These are two picks that are very interchangeable. So you still have the options.
Oh,
on that.
yeah.
Garen is a very good thing to lock in.
I like the Garen here a lot. It can be used very easily as like a little nice blind pick into top lane. There's definitely counters to Garen. I don't know if Briarcliff is willing to play Garen counters. The first one that jumps to mind is Vayne. I don't know if you're really willing to play Vayne here.
Oh god, yeah, no, you don't play Vayne at all here. No.
And you kind of want to play a tank. I like the Akali mid lane. We've seen Akali into Sylas about 1 million times, assuming that the Sylas goes mid. This should be the top lane pick right here. This would be Oxy's pick. He's known for he's done really well with Camille in the past, but I don't expect to see that pick here tonight. I say tonight, it's very much in the morning.
Yeah, and the Akali lock-in is a very interesting one. So this is a very low magic damage composition automatically. But they do give themselves this, and if that Lissandre's locked in, that is a big counter to this Akali. So now they have somebody to neutralize the Akali, and they have a lot of tools to keep themselves safe, but this is a high execution comp from BCU.
So is it Morgana top or is it Sylas top?
Sylas top.
I'd assume it's Sylas top. So Sylas into Garen. I'm gonna be honest, I have no clue how this matchup goes.
It's miserable for the Sylas. It's miserable.
I think it's miserable for either of them.
Nah. Garen, like
No. I meant or the Morgana. I'd say it's miserable regardless of which laner you put up there against the Garen.
The problem is with Morgana in this situation is you don't put her top because of the fact that it's a long lane. So if you push it, you get bullied so hard. If you do a Morgana top, like hats off to you if you make it work, but like it's a long lane and you naturally push with your abilities. So it's like unless you're not using your abilities, you're just focusing on last hitting with your auto attacks. It's actually a pretty miserable thing, especially if the Garen just plays with minion wave, because you just put a W down inside of the minion wave and all of a sudden, haha, wave's been pushed out. All right, time to do a freeze. You step up. I'm going to just run up to you, Q you, spin the win. Whee!
Hear me out. Smite top Janna. Smite top Morgana. We're just playing Janna
right.
again.
You're banned from the function.
All right, I'll see you in a couple hours.
I mean, I just look over and like these are a lot of hard individual matchups. BCU's comp is hard to play though. Like,
Oh no, it's
putting
real
all the
hard to
pieces
play.
together is kind of like whoa. Roosevelt actually has like a pretty standard composition with all things considered, which is weird because there's a Garen and a Kali in the game. But you have a assassination threat, you've got burst, you got consistent damage, you got consistent DPS, you got the armor shred from that Corki, and you have this Garen who is going to be this threat over onto the side lanes. While on the side of BCU, they don't actually have a true initiator. Their initiate is a flank. Rakan doesn't like to be the first person to go in, man. Like,
Yeah.
he wants to be a follow-up.
They do have a lot of like, they don't have a lot of engage, but they have a lot of secondary engage, right? Rakan R, Morgana Q, if you can hit it, can act a little bit like engage. Lissandra E into W or E into R can act as some amount of engage. Silas E can act as some amount of engage. It feels like they've got a lot of like good secondary sets of engages that maybe if you chuck two of them together, like if you set a Silas Abscond Abduct and Lissandra's like claw into stun together, that'll work together as one cohesive unit of engage.
So I do enjoy a good bit of Garen in my life. One of my best friends actually plays this champion all the time, and it's always very interesting hearing their thoughts on matchups because they're usually drooling on themselves, and I can't coherently make out what they're saying sometimes. So I can make out like key phrases like blah, 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 spit and blah, 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 win. Like, that's basically all you really need to know
You're
about
telling me
the
that
character
you
in it.
spin and win?
Apparently that's the tech. I was looking at it, and I'm looking at individual matchups. The Garen into Silas, that sucks for Silas. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah.
Garen should win by like auto attack Q and then spinning. I think he just straight up wins, like just doing an AA into Q into AA or spin, and it should be like an easy trade win for him in the early game. Silas wants to get up in your face as a stain. The Lissandra matchup, man, against the Akali, though.
That is a
flip
good
it
matchup.
around.
Yeah, that's a really good matchup for Lissandra here because every time Akali tries to go in, Lissandra either stasises if it's a big go in or just hits the W stun. Like, it's super easy for Lissandra to fight off this Akali.
Oh, yeah, I mean, anytime the Akali hits you with a shuriken backflip, they just start Naruto running at you, and you just say, oh, no, pause. I prefer Sasuke over Naruto, and then you walk away. That's simple.
I mean, I like it. I like both of these comps here. I think the practical comp is very hard to execute, but I do like it. I think it's interesting.
Do you want to hear a stat about Lissandra versus Akali?
I'm ready. I'm here for it. I'm going to assume it's very Lissandra favored.
It's very Lissandra favored. It may surprise you. What do you think the win rate normally is for Lissandra versus Akali in standard solo queue?
Standard solo queue, 57%.
You are actually incredibly close. It is 55.26.
That's a lot for solo queue.
That is a lot. Anything that goes above like
52.
yeah, like it's like okay, yeah, you just hard clear him. Got it. There's not very often with the Akali actually being able to pick up dubs because like you were talking about, it's just CC. You're not able to do anything. I get worried about the damage profile because now it tells me that the Akali is neutralized. The Garen is not your team fight threat, so it's all on Corki.
Yeah, it also like you're not gonna build magic damage on Sejuani. You might not even build like pure tank on Sejuani. There's a strong possibility this is like lock it into redemption Sejuani, that it's not like Sunfire Iceborne or something like that. That you go kind of the frugal build, the vegan Sejuani build. Over on the other side, there's a lot of magic damage and not that much attack damage. I know Ezreal can hit hard, but it's a lot of skill shots to hit, and you profit a lot here from building MR on the Roosevelt University side, because even Ezreal does some MR with the AD that he does.
And yeah,
Some magic damage, not some MR.
Yeah. I was picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, Israel does a healthy amount of magic damage. Yeah, the damage profile is leaning very heavily on one side, and it kind of goes back to the conversation of BCU's comp. You're so incredibly hard to play with this. I'm a little terrified of what the result would be with it. I think the big question on my mind is how does the Morgana jungle pan out? Your clear is very fast on this champion. Um, and in theory, as long as you're able to stay a healthy distance, you're good. You have great ganks if you can hit your Q. But if you miss your Q, well, all right, time to go do scuttle. Or hey, all right, well, see you guys later. I gotta go farm my camps now. Like your
Yeah.
ganks are if you hit the Q or not.
And you kind of need to hit the queue from further away. You can't come right up close and hit the queue because otherwise they're running away. It is.
Well, so there's a mind game, Mac. There's a mind game. So, what if I tell you that when I play Morgana, I walk at them?
Well, yeah. But are you playing Morgana support or Morgana jungle?
It's the same thing.
I think
Walk
it's
at
different.
them. No, because here's the thing. You've got two champions with abilities to move, right? So
Mhm.
what you do is you walk at them and make them continuously think of the Q that's going to come. The reason why is you want them to blow their gap closers. You want them to move. So when they use their ability to try to maneuver, that's when you throw the Q because it's telegraphed exactly where they're going to end up being and they have no realistic possibility to dodge. It's the same theory with hook champions where the deadliest thing you can do with a hook champion sometimes is just the threat of a hook.
See, I get that. I understand that. But Morgana ganking a lane, I feel like if you hit it from further away, your laner, in my head, I'm thinking top lane, right? Your top laner takes that opportunity to go in and start doing something, right? This Morgana into a Garen, you hit the Q from range, Silas is able to go in and start, and Morgana chucks the W down, and by the time Morgana's there now, you pop the R and you do the continuous like CC for 7 seconds or whatever it is on Morgana.
I mean, possibly. It's an option that you have. I'm just saying you have multiple options now for yourself as this Morgana jungle if you want to. You don't have to throw it out from match range. Because remember, your CC doesn't increase by the range that you do it by, right? What
No.
matters, and this is the key moment that you have to think about, is when you think of it situationally, sure, that can work. But what matters is hitting it. If this Morgana's not hitting Qs, doesn't even matter because the CC does it's a mute point and it's easier to hit it whenever they blow their mobility, whenever they blow their abilities to move around, whenever they like flash out of fear of your Q, right? Like it is something where sometimes not using the ability also has a lot of pressure that you can do, or not throwing it from like max distance because you're maximizing the amount of chance that you have to hit it.
Yeah. We have an alert from production. There's a client bug for the runes, so they are restarting the lobby right now. We have been given an estimated time of roughly 5 minutes to lobby. While we do that, can we pull the bracket up, please?
No, it's not allowed.
Bracket is in progress. Here it is.
No,
All right,
it's not allowed. You're banned from the bracket.
I'm banned from the bracket. I'm not allowed to look at it. So yesterday during the day, you guys didn't see it on stream, but we had the Swiss stage leading into this bracket stage. I want to point out a couple things. Overall, the team that got a bye to start was Grandview University. Now, if you've watched a lot of Collegiate League of Legends, that should not surprise you. Grandview University, probably on paper, is the best team here. I think you'd agree with me, Trav.
They're the favorites.
I would say that they are the favorites for winning today. They've also already gone and put themselves into the finals for today after they beat Columbia College last night. So we can see the losers round 3 and round 4. Those will be the games that we see today up until the finals. We won't see round 4 on stream, but you're seeing round 3 right now. So the last 4 teams left are Grandview University, Roosevelt and Briarcliff, which you're about to see, and Columbia College, who will play the winner of Roosevelt and Briarcliff.
I think the big thing for me to look at is you're talking about the results. This is a little bit of a grudge match is what my favorite thing is the fact that these two teams fought each other in the very first round of bracket stage.
Yeah.
And Briarcliff has had to fight their way through lower bracket, had to conquer the demons. And the demons come from the name of Cornell College. Their demons come from the name of Missouri Baptist University. And now that Roosevelt University was knocked down by Columbia College, Roosevelt looks over to Columbia College and says, yo, we want that run back. They have to take care of somebody that sees them as their demons, right? So it's a matchup of Roosevelt. If they win this, they're able to continue beating the team that they beat in the very first round and sent over to the lower bracket to challenge Columbia College yet again for the right to challenge Grandview University. But if they fall, then Briar Cliff will successfully have gotten their run back, and they will be going on to challenge Columbia College. And I think that's very exciting to think about because you don't get to see those stories where too often. But whenever you do get to see it, where it's like, we meet again in the lower bracket, huh? Didn't get too far after me, huh, kid? Like, it's always like a very fun thing for me to look back on and be like, man, hey, look at them, they're doing the thing.
We know these people. We've played them before. I swear.
Yeah.
Yeah, but exciting for the finals today, regardless of who's there. You can see Grandview against one of these great teams that have been making their way through the lower bracket run, even if it is Columbia College, who will only have the one game in the lower bracket run.
Yeah.
We can pull up the schedule again for just a moment before we jump back to League of Legends.
Yeah.
We're close to being in game. We have been told the players are in the game, is what we have been told. Just to remind everyone, we were watching.
This is what you wanted right here.
Yeah, this is what I wanted. Just to remind everyone,
What you really, really want.
we're watching League of Legends right now, lower quarters. After this will be an Overwatch 2 Grand Finals, best of 7. After that will be the loser final for Rocket League, and then we will end the day today with the Grand Final best of 3 in League of Legends. So make sure to stick around. If you're watching us now for League of Legends, make sure to come back later to see the grand finale over there. This is a game.
Yeah.
We're in the game.
We're in the
Woo!
game.
We did it. We made it, everyone.
We are here. We are going into our game. Roosevelt taking on Briar Cliff. Lower bracket.
It's
Loser
Garen.
gets down.
Is it Garen mid?
Yeah, they swapped it around the Garen mid. So they swapped around the Garen mid.
So
Some people have been playing this actually. So this does happen every now and then. It's an interesting thing into Lysandra. The lane's not as long. It's a shorter lane. Lysandra just does short patterns and tries to ignore the Garen while farming.
well, so here's the thing, right? If you put the Lysandra top, if you put the Akali into Lysandra, it's a Lysandra win very handily. If you put the Sylas into the Garen, it's a Garen win pretty handily. If you flip those, it kind of feels a little bit more even in both lanes. A little bit, not a lot, but a little.
Only a bit.
Those will not have access to as many ultimates, though, I will say.
I mean, Silas has still some very good ultimates. The Yoink, the Sejuani ultimate, right? We got the Nautilus. Those are the two major ones that they wanted. The Akali ult's kind of it works. More mobility is never something that you're gonna slouch at whenever you're playing Silas.
Good
But
hook.
look at this, the engage coming in, already laying in a good amount of damage. Boostinger getting put into a bad situation in terms of HP, and that's what you love to see whenever you got a knowledge. Trade your HP for the enemy marksman's 80, their HP, make things work for you.
Very good. It's a good trade early. Just kind of ducked right there from Silence. Corki E, which is the good flash from Ezreal there to get out of that. Corki E, highest damage level 1 ability in the game. So he's going to try and use that to the highest possible advantage to trade.
Oh wait, I do want to bring up, this is a Electrocute versus Conqueror game on the top side of the map. This Conqueror Silas, it means that longer fights are going to favor them, while the burst is in favor of the Akali. As Ezreal is completely zoned out of lane, but over onto the top side, that's first blood for the Silas, baby.
Good flash there from Silas to make sure that kill gets confirmed. Doesn't need to take a tower shot from that, just kind of walks away. Now look at Camera in the mid lane here. He's just kind of pushing off this Garen. A lot of poke early. That's how you're going to have to play the Sandra into a Garen. Poke, push their damage down. You've got the range advantage.
And get a little bit of that hurt and everything nice.
Silas
Now
is
you
now.
got Sejuani over here onto the side. Should be able to get a good amount of damage back as a trade, but it is going to be a trade back. Luna getting their get back.
Yeah, so 1 for 1. Didn't know the jungler was there. No flash because they used the flash for the kill. So top lane will be equalized pretty quickly. TP they're not going to actually use TP Moors to get into lane.
They're just going to wait. This is a typical thing. This is the lane is in a really bad spot for you to TP to, so you actually don't get any value from TPing to lane at this moment in time besides just standing by at speed. If you TP the lane as well, since you just died to a gank, you find yourself in a situation in which the jungler could still be in the vicinity, which means they could do a repeat gank, and that means that you've just lost another summon.
Losing summoners is bad.
Hmm?
Losing
How
summoners
crazy.
is bad. Like if you're the holder of the summoners, it is bad to lose them.
Yes, yes.
This is what Silas' lane is going to be the entire time. It's just going to be little trays that you can use your W to get some healing off of, some damage as well.
Yeah. Once a little bit of those longer trades, check it out. Got a little bit in a scary situation. I was talking stats earlier on. You know what the Garen win rate versus Lissandra is?
Does it have one, or if you're on OPGG, does it have one of those like question marks of low sample size?
No.
Okay. It's probably a 48% win, Garen.
It is 48% win rate for the Garen because of reasons like this, where you're just held down, you can't do anything. Garen's worst enemy is CC. His worst matchups are CC. Lissandra is a CC bot.
It's everything comes from Garen.
Oh, didn't have enough mana. That's a little unfortunate for the Lissandra.
Could have been something. Looked for it, but they both used flash there, so it's neutralized there.
Check it out. Good stop on the play. Black
Good
Shield
spell
was
shield.
there. They can't break it yet again. This is what I was talking about. They have no way to break it, but the Sejuani waited to proc the Brittle, and that means they get a kill as a response. Dark Harvest there. Get a good amount of damage. One more auto, but the turret shot will finish things off. Mike gets the kill, has to flash over the wall, but it doesn't matter. Sejuani can go over that wall. No flash needed. A double kill on the top side of the map for Roosevelt.
Yeah, that was a reasonable predict by Mike at the end to chuck the binding. Oh, what a prediction!
Got the hook to lollipop around behind the minion wave. Go ahead and grab Aspen out of that. But like you were just saying, good predictions coming out top side. Good fights coming out. Roosevelt looking in a very good spot and a good start for this jungler, actually. Intra having a phenomenal start on this Sejuani.
Yeah, so Sejuani is one of the junglers that can absolutely play low economy. I said earlier about like lock it into redemption. But if you can get money on Sejuani, she will use it. Like she will get better items than that. You can just play low key econ though. I do expect there to be maybe a Hollow Radiance or a Spirit Visage or a Canic Rukern very early in this game, as there's a ton of magic damage over on the Briarcliff side.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy to think about the fact that you can just with a tank, right? Because your items are naturally lower in terms of cost. You can actually hit your item power spikes even harder, faster. So that does become a thing. Check out Mike getting a good catch out onto Luna, who was inside of the jungle. They're looking for the 3v1 scenario. Hide inside the shroud and make a quick escape. Ninja gets out with no problem. Morris doesn't connect with the chain either. And remember, Roosevelt, they're two solo laners that escape a precarious situation that VCU are trying to force.
Yeah, so every time Silas jumps in, you have to be aware, because even if Silas doesn't hit you, he's got the extra dash with his W that he's kind of able to get onto you even if he misses onto a minion or something like that. So he's got a lot of mobility, and you have to be a little bit scared because he won't die instantly. He's not an assassin that can't sustain it all.
You can see the catch out inside the mid lane, the Black Shield there. They're not able to stop at that Black Shield value yet again. They do not have a way to burst it out. The highest magic damage profile they have is this Akali, so you're not going to be able to burst that on out. Level 6 is available. Silas looking for the trade. Ultimates are there. Luna was seeing it, gets the kill. Flawless execution. While over into the bot side, the Ezreal's in for a bad place to get hit with the Frozen Tomb. It will spell out their doom. Tego gets themselves a kill as Sejuani throws away the key.
Yeah, Sejuani was just sitting in the jungle for a very long time there. Took the gromp of the red side jungle. Just walked around. Boosinger was in the wrong place, the wrong time. Tried to flash, tried to barrier, but once Sejuani hits 1 or 2 hits on you, it doesn't really matter past that point. You're not going away.
Yeah, it's not a great time to be around at that point in time. And you can see the Sejuani resets, goes back over to the top side. Mike is counter farming a lot, but the problem is they don't have prio in a lot of these other ones. Soul Shackles have been laid out. This Garen is tearing through the HP. There is that Frozen Tomb from the Lissandra, but it's just there to dissuade. The Ghost was used by the Garen, so, Garen not going to get any further use out of it.
Yeah, so if you're curious to see why did Mike hold the spell shield for so long, and why did Intra not use the frozen bit there to stun Mike. They both were playing a little game of chicken with that spell shield. Mike didn't want to use it till he saw the E come out from Sejuani. It does take a second. It's not instantaneous. So they played a little bit of chicken there. That's how Mike survived for such a long time.
Hey, looking for the pick off. They're going to find just that. Get a good charm off the quickening. Garen first member to fall off the end of the fight. Luna on the side trying to finish off the Silas. The boosting gets less win as they find yet another kill. 2 kills in favor of BCU off that roam into the mid lane. It might not be done just yet. Luna still seeing a little bit more. They see smoke. They want to make sure there's a fire. But on the side, Tickle doing a little tickling of their own. They got some rockets to shoot on out. Pew pew, my dude. They're just going ahead and laying out as much poke as they can.
I mean, good on Moors there for getting in, making sure he played his life, making sure he just survived the entire time. But that's a lot of damage from Aspen onto Aspen.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh,
Look
good
at,
knockup.
he's not done yet. Aspen has to do everything just to protect them. There was a big one locked and loaded with this Ezreal's name on it. So this is getting very fast and furious. And oh, yeah, Silas, you were dunzo, man.
He did I talked so nicely about him playing his life, and then he walked right up top with 3 HP.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where it's just like there was a wave crashing in. It's the typical like, there's a wave here, please, I need this. You sometimes you gotta let CS go. Good rotation call coming in from Roosevelt though, right? Like the Akali going from mid to jungle in that situation. They knew that they had the powers advantage. Now Lissandra having to answer top side, it just makes things a little bit rougher for him. And Silas now has to go back to mid lane to answer the lane assignment.
At this point, it's going to be try and kill the Lissandra. You can see in the dollars and cents here that everything's kind of equal for the most part, right? Your big lead, actually, for Roosevelt University is sitting on Tickle against Boosinger in the bottom.
That's a swing and a miss. Doesn't find the intended mark. Kind of hard to be able to lock down this BCU team. Lissandra has the claw. You have the shift. You have all these different tools at your disposal. Game pretty even in terms of the gold, but too exciting past that at the moment, as we do see Silas yoinks the depth charge. He's going to hold on to it. Don't want to waste it. Onto the knowledge chain does connect. They want to throw the step charge onto the bat line, quickening onto the side. It's 2 separated fights where they've divided and conquered inside of such. BCU find the kill on the isolated Nautilus. And you gotta talk to, if you're Roosevelt, you gotta kind of walk back and be like, guys, we can't.
Oh, they're going back?
All this. They're going back in. They got a depth
There's
charge.
a not ult.
They're going back in. They're gonna get that not ult into the backside of the fight. Tickle taking a good amount of damage, but look at them. They're able to trade back so efficiently. Lissandra gets the pop, gets the passive going, but now Luna has joined into the fray. The DPS is there. It's Mike versus Intra, and Luna and Cammer comes around onto the side, and this passive is just going to continue popping off. There is no Garen. There is a numbers disadvantage. So BCU come out on top.
Nautilus is just trying to see if he can get anything. He died. He was the first person to die in the fight. First person to come back alive. Can they just kill him twice here?
Yeah,
I think they can.
They just take him out again. He just dies for this. There's no reason to interrupt this. This is one of those plays where it's like, all right, you let it go. They won their thing in that situation. So a bit of a overzealous move. It does stop the response time for the Garen. So Garen gets a turret and a half, basically, where he gets to start working on this bottom tower. Great, phenomenal, love that for you. But it's a little bit of a swing there, where BCU just gets even more gold. This Lissandra's now 4-0 mech.
Yeah, this Lissandra's very fed. Regardless of the gold, like Lissandra's only up what 500 gold, which grand scheme of things in this game is not the biggest gold lead, right?
Well, Garen got a turret too, right? So it's
well,
like, all right,
Garen got a turret, and you've got this bot lead of almost 1,000 for the Corki over the Ezreal, but Camera does a lot of damage and has so much CC in conjunction with Morgana that it becomes very difficult to move around. And as so many of the Roosevelt University players need to kind of move around to do something, it's really difficult to play into Morgana Lissandra here.
The problem is, for sure, is they need to play as one. Separated fights like that actually favor BCU in a lot of those cases if Garen is not there, especially because Garen was not there. Remember, they are Flash Ghost. They are looking to run somebody down in the side lane. They are not trying to do anything past that. You gotta recall that. Great prediction there with the Glacial Claw, but I think you still needed to take that. That's a shutdown going over.
Yeah, I think even if you get stunned there, they take a second to get around, and it's a little bit brutal. You're just kind of giving over a bounty at that point. 400 gold into the pockets. Visual University.
Goes right over to the Garen. Hey, gold equalized now between the two of them. Again, you don't really have a front line, so you kind of get mulched. The Garen can actually just kind of build a very much more like, hey, I hit you once and you are dead kind of build if he wanted to after the Stride Breaker.
And then many champions have like a tanky build. I don't know if there's a real like tank build for Lysandra. It just kind of ends up being her standard build, but there's nothing you can do that's like a more tanky variant as far as I'm aware.
You're right on that. There's not really like you're going to be beefy no matter what because of your build, but they are going to double burn build on the Lysandra as well. So they're not doing like the prototypical rocket belt or anything like that.
Is he doing double burn? Or is he doing Riftmaker?
If you're doing Riftmaker, that would be interesting. That's not an item you normally build on Lysandra.
I would agree it's not normally an item. I think it would be double burn. But Riftmaker would give a little bit of healing mid-fight.
If you're proxy, yes. If you're fighting on the side of a long exchange fight, yeah. Double burn is more standard than Riftmaker for sure, but we'll have to see if that will be the case. Morris is going in for the aggression, has an ultimate, trying to show Luna how it's done. Mike can't find a kill though because of the fact the Shroud, and they just get out of dodge. Interesting, actually. I'm guessing that Mike is going to get their Hourglass as their second item, which is a key item on Morgana, but not often that you get to see it go Blackfire into that. So choice to find Mike.
It will be Leandra Smith. You're absolutely correct. There's some thinking going on. Tower and a half taken top lane. Just by that Rift Herald. They did grab the dragon in trade there. What University did. So 2 drags to 0 for Roosevelt right now, and Cameron. He'll have to use Stasis. He should be dead
here. There's a quick lead. Okay, wait, no. The Rakan able to save things around. They weren't able to get more damage afterwards. I was expecting a Q ult, honestly, from the Garen in that trade. But over onto the bat side of things, they're looking to see if they can solidify kill their own. The depth charge is going to be something that's going to be an RIP charge as they get yet another binding. That's a double kill for the Silas. And that is the 2v2 that you wanted to happen versus the 2v2 that Roosevelt got.
Not only did you get the depth charge being used on Akali there, it was basically a full range Silas E to pull them first. I mean, they couldn't get under turret, meaning you were absolutely going to get that kill. Second that Akali goes down, it is really hard to fight anything else there.
Man, the side lanes have been the most important part for this matchup. Roosevelt did get has mid tower control, right? Like they were able to get the outer mid tower, and really DCU hasn't been able to get any part onto it. Lysandra pretty ahead. Morgana's in a good way. Look, the Hourglass was completed off of that play. Power Spike is going to start hitting into the Ezreal, but
that's brutal.
A little bit of a rough go of things. I mean, yeah, brutal. You wanted the scuttle, too bad. So sad. Roosevelt will take it. Check out the Garen running all around. They got this DPS build going for themselves. A beautiful anchor toss. Tickle gets the kill. Boosinger. It's taken on off of the Rift.
So this is part of what we talked about during draft, that it's quite difficult to play the Briarcliff comp, not just because it's a lot of skill-based matchups and you have to just win the skill, but there's not a lot of AD on this team. There's not a lot of like physical damage. It's mostly magic damage, and especially when Boosinger is kind of left solo on this damage, like attack damage, it's not doing particularly well. It becomes very easy and very valuable to build magic resist.
Looking for the dive onto Camera. This is a very difficult one to be able to dive, but when you got 4 members, the odds may be in your favor. Still gets a trade 1-for-1 in the 1v4. So gorgeous on that. And Akali second, an assassination happened in bot lane. We actually flipped over there. Saw and Luna surviving on a sliver and then taking out the opposition. That's what you love to see coming out from Roosevelt.
I mean, like, hey, if you're Luna, that's what you kind of need to do to get back into this game. I say get back into this game. It looks like scoreboard-wise, you seem to be doing better than the Silas. It just feels like the Silas has been really more important as a frontliner in a lot of these fights. Generally not where you'd put a Silas as the main frontliner for a team, but he's kind of had to sit that role.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like the fact that the Silas is going to be your main person who's starting off the fight because they're yoinking Nautilus ult to throw that in the midst of a fight. They're yoinking the Sejuani ult to throw that in the midst of a fight, right? They are your main initiation because of the comp that you drafted yourself, where it's a comp where you have to outplay your opposition. BCU is down in terms of gold. They did lose another tower top side, and the damage profile, the way that they're dealing with everything, is a bit of a rough go. You talked about it early on. Ezreal's not having a great time. They're not a tank buster. They're not your AD tank buster that you would normally want. So these tanks, they actually get so much value inside of this game. There is a lot of meat, and BCU, they looking like vegans. They ain't going to be able to chew through all that meat. It's not going to work for them. As you can see, they're getting a catch onto the Nautilus, but they can't burst them down. He's going to throw out a couple more of his abilities before falling, but the rest of the members aren't in position. And now, Roosevelt, you're scattered. Why are you opting for this fight here? You're going to get immediately punished. 2 members dropping with an absurd rate. Garen onto the side. Good catch out, lays in a good amount of damage. Cammer survives it. This should be the go button for them to say, let's play around this top side. Let's look at Baron as a possibility. They don't have a fast take onto it. You saw that the Silence actually yoinked that Sejuani ult and tried to use it, but the Corki, too obsessed with poking, laying out some hurt of their own. They get a little too close to the sun, and they find out, man, it's hot out here.
The second that you try and go for that Sejuani ult, you're thinking Baron. That's your entire goal here. You get a kill there, you get a kill or two there, you just turn and go Baron. It just came up. They weren't able to get everything they wanted to, so you weren't able to walk straight to Baron, but right now they're going to walk to Dragon and see if they can fight this.
Oh, they should be able to find some, but the HP bars, remember, they haven't recalled on this. They're sitting on a lot of gold on the side. They need to go ahead and just get this pick here. Roosevelt, yet again, the divide and conquer mentality is not working out in your favor. That's a shutdown that goes over in favor of BCU, but Luna now popping off. This is the main damage dealer. It's the main person that you're wanting to be able to pop off in some of these team fights because of how squishy each member is. Has been so critically
This
low.
is a Kali pentakill angle right here.
This is possible, but they don't have ultimate. There's no way for them to get this pentakill. There's no way that the Dream is alive for this. And you can see they just chase him down. The HP was just not in your favor. And check it out, the Corki running in, guns a-blazing. Corki, you're going to be up 2 snuffs and back to the fountain as they will get 1 kill as a trade. But is it worth it? I say no. That's a big swing in favor of BCU.
No, it's not worth it at all. There was such an angle there for things to go right for Roosevelt, especially towards the end of the fight. You saw that when they were taking the Dragon, when Briarcliff University was taking the Dragon, every single player was on low health except for Boosinger, who doesn't have much health to begin with. It was really difficult for Briarcliff. If they sent one more person, Roosevelt did, at the end, or they had one person survive, it could have gone south so quickly for Briarcliff.
I am looking at how this is looking inside of the map and whatnot, and I'm looking at Roosevelt. I'm looking at you guys. You guys gotta realize what kind of comp you got right now. Like, this comp is actually in a really good spot at the current moment in time in these side lanes and whatnot, but taking these divide and conquer actions are not working. Remember, I was talking about earlier on, because they've got so much meat and because of the way the comp works, Garen can actually opt for a more offensive build. Look at what they're doing. They got themselves that mortal reminder after the strike breaker. They're working on what I'm assuming is probably going to be a PD.
Yeah, it's
like,
fine, sir.
You're in a situation now where you're like, all right, this is where you're at. You got this DPS build. You can't get caught separated, just like we saw topside where Luna goes down.
Yeah, I mean, Moors is going to be able to kind of poke and trade with this Garen most of the time now that you're late game.
I mean,
some
you
degree.
don't want to trade with the Garen. You don't want to.
You don't really want to trade the guy.
He has mortal reminder. Remember, that's Grievous.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Like
Mortal
a
Reminder
long
now.
extended chain, your conqueror, all your kit is taken out. But yet again, somebody's getting caught out of position. Left Lin is out of position over here onto the side, and very smart on BCU to say, okay, there's a Nautilus out of position. Let's go ahead, burst him out. Now your main engager is out of the fight. Sejuani's back over here, has to back away because nobody else is around to be able to help out with any of the damage. The Silas is getting dove under the tower, and it doesn't even look close to get still out the Demacia, that giant sword from the sky. Shutdown goes over onto the side lane, into the bot lane of the matchup. Mike goes onto a killing spree. You can tell that BCU is trying to get something going, but Roosevelt's shining light, their guiding light, is a Garen at the current moment in time, who's tearing apart in the side lanes because there's no tools out there from BCU to deal with this Garen. He's just gonna run away. You ain't catching up to him. Why are you even bothering?
Not only is he just running away, but let's remind you about Garen passive, which is he heals a lot.
Yeah, lots of
so-
health regen.
Yeah, so that Garen that was hitting the tower that was only about 200, 300 HP, now half health again. And he's tanky enough that he can survive on half health against 1 or 2, maybe even 3 people, depending on who it is. If Moors is going to be the person sitting in side lane this entire game that's got to match the Garen, it is a doomed proposal from the Briarcliff Silas, but they need to just use the fact that, hey, we're going to give up on this Garen, we're just going to kind of contest him, and do something with the rest of the map, because while the Garen is very fed right now and very tough for Briarcliff to beat, the rest of the Roosevelt University team doesn't seem so scary.
It is a BCU game on how they need to move around at the moment. They need to continue. I like what BCU is doing, where they're focusing out like the individual target. Like grab the Nautilus. The Nautilus is out, misstep. Nobody's walking with the Nautilus in every exchange. Forky's positioning is pretty good. They're catching out them. They're catching out Moon, right? Like, I want to see more of that from BCU, but they need to get these positions for these fights in advantageous situations in which the Garen's not able to continue. Like, check it out. Garen's just staying bot side. They know they don't have CPs. They can't join for a fight, but they can continue to threaten this wave, and they're dedicating both their solo laners to try and stop this Garen. Silas
And
is in
they
position
probably
to-
can. They can.
Flash.
They
No,
can
but-
kill.
No, they're looking for the kill. He's spinning the win. You have to trade one for it. You can't kill the Garen in that scenario. And when you get up in their face like that, they will eviscerate you. And now the fight on the other side of the fight is going to go completely south because you don't have the numbers advantage anymore. Roosevelt finds the kill onto Mike right in front of Baron. A beautiful hook. Nobody was ready for that to go into play. And you just got the jungler right in front of Baron. You've got multiple wards sitting here. They can't start it because of the damage that was done in the exchange. But still, Roosevelt come out on top because BCU are in a situation they don't have a response to Garen. Lysandra Silas is not your response.
Yeah, so we do know now for certain you can't fight Garen with just 2 people. You have to send the whole squad. You have to send the whole group. So what do you do about it? There's a couple versions here. You could say, we don't care about Garen, we're going to let him split push forever. There's a version there. I don't know if it's a good version, but there's a version there. The other version is, you see Garen on a sideline like this, you try and pick him. You send every single member of your team there. You let the rest of Roosevelt do whatever they want to do, and you pick Garen. And once you pick Garen, you start working from there. I think that second option is probably going to be the better option for them.
I'm just gonna be real with you. If you go for a pick if you send everybody on the Garen, I can tell you what the